playing in the student funding crisis. The fund has been both criticized and praised for their handling of the student funding crisis. Joining us from our Cape Town studios is NSFAS spokesperson Kagisho Mamabolo. Kagisho, thank you so much for joining us. Now, allowing students who did not get funding to appeal, how will the appeals process work for students who have not received funding? How will it work? Kagisho, are you able to hear us?
Well, thank you very much for inviting us. The appeal process has been working for some time at NSFAS. It's not for the first time we are doing it. Basically, this is how it's going to work. All the students that have applied NSFAS for the first time who never received NSFAS can appeal by downloading the appeal form on our website, complete it, and put in a little bit of a motivation as to why their applications need to be reconsidered. And such applications can be emailed to our offices. The email address is appeals@nsfas.org.za. Now, the process is different for returning students. Returning students would be students that received NSFAS in the past few years. Those students can fill in the form but submit it at the financial aid offices at their respective institutions. So their universities will receive the forms and will submit them to NSFAS.
How long will the appeals process take? So, for instance, a student delivers that appeal document at the university's offices and then it's sent through to your offices. How long is that process going to take before they get feedback with regards to the appeal?
Well, there's a little bit of an echo, so I hear the duplication of your question. But if I got it correctly, I think we are closing the application window on the 28th of February. After that, we will then be able to process every single applications that we have received and then be able to communicate with the students. We are also aware that there is a second or a late registration window that is available for students at universities. So we are working with all the universities to ensure that our responses are aligned with each and every institutions to ensure that our students are not closed outside the process.
Now, Kagisho, has the increased number of applicants this year presented logistical challenges in the fund's ability to process and approve applicants?
Well, you could imagine processing over 160,000 applications for the first time. These are applications that come from first applicants, not including over 200,000 applications of returning students, can be quite an administrative burden, considering that over 100,000 of these applications came through manually, meaning we had to increase our capacity to capture this application. So indeed, it has brought a lot of challenges for us. But I think what was more challenging for the scheme was that for us to confirm offers to students, we had to ensure that those students have secured offers at their respective institutions. And majority of the students who were rejected were found to have not secured spaces at universities, and therefore we advised some of them to actually consider going to TVET colleges.
Now, Kagisho, let's speak about the challenges that NSFAS is facing with regards to recouping money from students that have benefited from NSFAS in the past. What sort of challenges are you facing and how are you working to ensure that those students who are now employed and are able to pay back the money are doing that?
Well, the first thing that the scheme would like to say is to appreciate all over 30,000 beneficiaries that for the first time in the last 6 months have come forward to start contributing towards their outstanding debt. However, the challenge that we have experienced included debtors who would make arrangement with us, but later on they don't honor that payments. This actually leads to us having to stop the debit orders after 3 months or so and having to restart the negotiation process with those debtors to start paying. And of course, one of the challenges has been our debtors, they move from one employer to another, therefore changing their contact details and not keeping in contact with the scheme. Hence, our working partnership with SARS to ensure that we can trace our debtors as they move from one employer to another.
Now, judging by how much money NSFAS needs to fulfill its mandate, is free education possible?
Well, that question, that is a question that government is working on. We know that there is a ministerial task team. We know there was also a commission appointed by the president. So government is working very hard to ensure that that question that you're asking is answered appropriately at the right time. But I can tell you that the existence of NSFAS is to simply create access and success, especially for the disadvantaged and for the poor, those that come from poor families that cannot afford higher education. We fund over 400,000 students a year. That is a significant number. And we know that our students that come from no-fee schools automatically qualify for NSFAS. Students that depends on social grant automatically deserve NSFAS. And also, education, higher education at TVET colleges, it's free. So you can actually imagine that when you start talking about free education, what are you actually referring to some extent? Because you could see that government has already started to introduce free education slowly.
Kagisho, we'll have to leave it there for now. Thank you so much for joining us. That was Kagisho Mamabolo joining us live from our Cape Town studios. Our time now.